The ugly truth about using AI for sales. In this video, I'm going to cover the exact framework I use to determine whether AI should be used in your sales department, the do's and don'ts if you're considering using a sales AI strategy within your business, pricing economics, so like what are the typical prices, what are the economics to make sure it makes sense for you as a business owner to use AI sales, and finally the best AI use cases I found within most sales departments. If you guys don't know me, my name is Jeet. I run an operations automations agency that helps businesses streamline their operations and then use AI to automate the boring work. Let's get started. So I want to start off by emphasizing something that you already know, which is that sales is the most important part of any business. Every business has a marketing process. You may or may not be getting referrals, so marketing might not be an issue. Then you have sales, and then you have fulfillment, which is your employees actually doing the work. Sales is the make or break it point. If the sale happens, your business moves forward. If the sale doesn't happen, your business dies. It's that simple. And hence, sales is the most important part of your company. So why on earth would you want to try to hand this off to a robot? And by this point in time, I know what you're probably thinking because I have this exact same conversation with my clients. I can't find any good salesmen. My salesmen are too expensive and they're eating up my margin. Or I don't want to spend time doing the sales calls if you're still doing this as the owner. And so when people are talking about using AI for sales, what they're really saying is, I want to offload the single most important function of my business to an algorithm that I don't fully understand, but hope is good because everyone's hyping AI up right now. I know that's hard to hear, but someone has to say it. And let me just kind of show you on a graph of what the typical process looks like in terms of drop in efficiency when you as the owner offload sales activity to an autocorrect system, right? Which is AI if you're not aware of that. On the left side is close rate, on the right side is average sales performance. So that's how consistent you are. This is high close rate, this is high performance. And if you're the owner that's watching this video, there's a good chance that you're probably already pretty good at sales to build a decent sized business. That comes along with the fact that you're probably passionate about whatever it is that you're building your business on. You probably have a lot of industry knowledge, so by definition, you're going to probably be the best person to sell whatever it is that your business is selling. One ladder down from that is a salesman. So salesmen are pretty good at selling, right? That's what they do. But at the same time, if you're closing at a 40% close rate, the salesman might be at a 30% or like a 25%, which is totally normal, right? It's just part of the game because they're not as driven as you. They're not as passionate about the product. They don't have as much industry knowledge, but they still get the job done. And you as the owner probably make more money by offloading this activity to a salesman. AI, on the other hand, is going to be way down here. It has the lowest close rate. That's just because the technology is just not there yet. And I'm going to get more into that in a second. But realize when you're going from owner to AI or salesman to AI, you're taking a severe hit in terms of your efficiency in sales. And you have to ask yourself, is that something your business can afford? Because it is on a case-by-case basis. And let me just go to the next slide and explain more. But realize that the tech is just not there yet, right? I understand that AI is a big deal in 2025, 2026, depending on when you're watching this video. But LMs, just like anything, are still unreliable, right? The technology is still finicky. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's just the reality right now. And when it comes to sales, you simply cannot afford that kind of unreliability. That means less sales. That means less money that's going into your pocket by considering to use the solution. And that's why even in the automation work that I do for clients, we still have a human double check everything for most outputs, right? Even if it's on the back end project management fulfillment side, which is where we spend most of our time. If there are cases where we're not having a human double check it, it's because it's reserved for low priority tasks where the owner, the CEO specifically told me that mistakes don't really matter too much, right? And that's a very it doesn't happen often. So if you're treating your AI like a full-time employee that takes tasks and flawlessly executes them without oversight, you're making a major mistake and you're not thinking about AI the right way. It doesn't work that way yet. And let's just kind of go into the economics. Let me make this more real for your business, right? Let's talk about pricing. A lot of these AI for sales or AI SDR companies are charging anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 in setup fees just to get started. So this is we haven't even done any sales or anything like that. This is just to set things up and get this. And a little hint here is that the setup just involves tweaking the prompt to match your business details. So they'll probably go into your website, ask you about your sales process, and build the prompt. So it does not take that long. But if you're looking at this pricing and thinking, well, that's a lot of money. I could just hire a salesperson or even someone outsource who's good at sales to do it. That's the point, right? If this is expensive for you, if this is not expensive for you, then there's a good chance that what I said in this video probably doesn't apply to you. But if you're looking at this price and you're like, wow, that's a lot of money, it's probably because it's just not meant for you, right? These platforms are built for massive enterprises taking 5,000 plus inbound messages per day, and they're trying to shave costs by reducing headcount. And even then, they'll still have a real team in place to take over when the AI fails. Realistically, if you're watching this video, you're not a mega conglomerate. $2,000 to $3,000 might not be an insane amount of money for you, but it's definitely not something you're going to bat your eye at. And this is another key point of this video, which is that for most of you, sales is not a high volume game, right? We're not talking about the 5,000 plus inbound messages per day. there's a good chance you're probably getting anywhere from like 5, 10, 20 to even 100 book calls per week. And for that, you do not need AI. You just need a great salesperson, maybe even spend your own time if you're early in your business career to do this yourself. If having a sales AI drops your close rate from 20% to 10%, ask yourself, was this worth it? You just lost half your business overnight by trying to avoid hiring or managing a sales team, right? And that's not leverage, that's sabotage. I know you guys want to make your life easier and give everything to AI, but realize, is cutting your revenue by 50%, is that really something you want to gamble with? And for some of you guys, that might be yes, because you guys are so tired of it, or you guys have so many leads, or like it's on a case-by-case scenario. I'm trying to generalize this to as wide of an audience as I can. But for most of you guys, the answer is going to be no, and that is why I think it might not be a fit. On top of all of what we just talked about, let's just think about this from the customer's point of view, right? Do you really want your first touch point to be a robotic sounding message? Do you want to be introduced by an AI chatbot that barely understands the context of your customer's need? Probably not, right? Think back to the last time you got on a customer service call with a dialer or an AI bot. All you wanted to do was get on a call with a real person. So why would you want to put your customers through this? I understand that it's a pain and you're probably tired of having to pick up the phone all the time or have your salesman mess it up. But the first interaction sets the tone for the entire relationship. Customers want to feel like they're being taken seriously, not like they're being filtered through like a vending machine. Alright, so with the first 5 minutes being spent completely trashing AI and why I don't think it should be used for sales, I do think that there's still some pros to this. And my personal motto in the sales department specifically is to use AI to assist, not to replace. There are a lot of ways to let AI support your sales process, but not lead it. Some examples include drafting rough outlines for cold emails, so you're still reviewing and editing it, but the actual process of brainstorming and the creative activity of coming up with variations, you can have an AI do it. Researching leads to summarize key insights, this one's huge. If you just put in your transcripts for your sales calls into ChatGPT and ask it to find insights, find the top objections, find the top areas where your salesmen are like messing things up in the sales process or not following the script. This is a great way for you to do this without having to sit there and listen to your salesmen's calls every single day. Organizing CRM data, follow-ups, and so on, right? You're still in control, but the AI is just the assistant, not the strategist that's doing all this. In terms of where AI actually shines, so where I think there's like the real value, it's going to be scoring every sales call quantitatively. What I mean by that is having real numbers to hold your salesman accountable. So it's like a yes or no, or like a scale of 1 to 5 of did this person follow the process? How good did they do? How many objections were there? How did they handle like real numbers to back every single sales performance? When you do that across 5, 10, 20 calls, you get to see a dashboard of your reps in real time of how they're performing. We're trying to avoid the gray area by doing this. So that's just one example. Tracking whether the reps are following the script, identifying where the call leads tend to drop off. I know I'm getting a little deep here, but I'm just trying to give you guys different ideas of how it can be used. Another use case is ideating and writing sales scripts, so coming up with new angles, rewriting messages, variations, understanding your customer, so understanding the voice of customer, VOC, I think that's what it's called, by seeing repeated phrases that are used throughout your transcript. So there's a lot you can do in here just by putting a transcript into ChatGPT and asking for feedback. That's the bottom line here. You don't need my help to do that part. And to wrap things up, some final thoughts. This video is probably not what you wanted to see, but it might be the one you needed to see because it's easy to get sold on the idea that AI is going to save your business. It's hard to admit that most of it's hype. So that's going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll leave you guys off with 2 things. One will be a video up here explaining why I think most businesses don't need AI. They need simple automations, especially if you're in the multi-6 to 8 figure range. The second thing will be if you don't have time to watch all these videos and learn this yourself and you want my help in building proper systems, operational structure, AI in a manner that actually saves you time and not there just for the sake of saying that your business uses AI, visit applygpt.com and we can have a chat. All right, have a good day, guys.